people trigger me, they hurt me, they say these words, they do these things that trigger me again and again. One thing I wanted to really show here, please pay attention here. See, we always see as though the other person is pushing my buttons. The truth is, we have a big red button says don't touch me in the front and the back and here and everywhere. And then we say, but I want to come closer to you as well. So I would say nobody triggers you. You get triggered by others. See, for any transformation to happen, we should take this first step. Like, I am getting triggered. Why? Because I have a sensitivity towards some behaviors, some words spoken, some things. I'll give you an example. Like, I'll tell you this from my own life, of course. It's a few years or many years, I don't know when, but it was one day I was in the kitchen, I was cutting an avocado, and all relaxed, and my wife walked in, and then she looked at me, and she said, Rajesh, this is not how you cut an avocado. How long? You don't even know how to cut an avocado. This was not the problem, because in the kitchen, if somebody says you don't know what to do, I don't have big ego around that space, so I can let it go. If somebody says the same around my teaching, there's a bit more ego there. But here it's not much of an ego. But that is not the trigger point. Then she laughed in a particular way. I cannot say how it is, but she laughed in a particular way, ha ha ha, something like that. Boom. Rajesh of the teenage or pre-teenage, being bullied in school, the small boy, everyone was taking him for a ride, everyone was laughing at him derisively. Zoom, everything exploded in that moment. And I turned around and said, how can you laugh at me like that? Do you think I'm a nobody? But luckily, with all my practice, this statement stayed in my head. And then my body tensed up and I was like sitting there with a knife in my hand. And she walked away and I was there. I wanted to say 100 different things, wanted to ask these questions. How dare you? What do you think? And I want to throw this in the bin. And I want to know everything that was happening there. But only one thing I started, this is the practice I have. So I said, Rajesh, this is your anger. This is your pain. This is your hurt. Wait, let it pass. So I was holding it tight, continuing with the avocado, breathing hard. My body all the energy is going up to my head. All of this is happening and I'm aware of it. And then after every minute or two, it goes to the peak. All the questions crowding in my head, all the images of the past, and then feeling this small boy being bullied. And then everything, all in a fraction of like this, and then coming down and down and down and down. In 3 minutes, I had nothing to say to my wife. Because one thing I realized was, it was my one big button. She inadvertently stumbled upon it. So, do I have to have a talk with her? No. Could I tell her like, okay, that particular way of laughing, would she be able to understand it? No. Even if she is able to understand, even if I communicate that, I am putting my responsibility onto her shoulders. I'm saying, you are responsible for my anger from here on, which is absolute nonsense. Unfair. We believe that, I communicated, I told her, don't ever say this, it triggers me. So from now on, it's as though it is their responsibility for your triggers. I'm saying like, this is nonsense. Just because you lived with your triggers all your life and suddenly one day you just transfer it to the spouse. And then you say that person is from today responsible for not making me angry or upset. I'm saying take responsibility for your triggers, even though you may have communicated it 1,000 times. Still, you are responsible for your emotions, for your trauma coming out, you're responsible. So that is important about triggers. We believe like, oh, everyone triggers me. No, you have a big trigger, it gets sensitive. So you have to look into yourself and work on that.